welcome back. I know it's been a long time. We had a bit of a long break due to, honestly, a number of issues that we won't get into because it's just there's too many, man. There's really too many. But we're back. This is Talking Toku, Boston and Bellingham's only podcast about Godzilla, Gamera, Ultraman, and all their kaiju friends. I am your host, David.
I'm Brian.
And we're here. We're back. We got we got a great episode for you today. I think it's the only fitting thing. I'm not even gonna say what it is. I mean, if you're listening, you've probably already seen the title of the episode, so you probably already know what it is. But just let me have this, man. Just let me have this. All right. It's been so long since we've done this. I've been itching to do another episode. Just let me have this. This is the one thing. God.
The one thing that you want is to cover this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty goddamn excited about it.
Oh no, absolutely. This has been an episode long in the making.
Yeah.
I mean, not we've been that long, but
we've been radio silent on it.
We have. I mean, we've peppered it in, like kind of teased it. You know, anytime you've heard us say like unnamed show or redacted, that's what we've been talking about. Is the topic of today's episode.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to keep it under wraps. We wouldn't want to spoil a future episode, and usually we do that. But like this one was too good to let everyone know that we had to like keep this one under wraps.
Yeah.
Yes. But before we get into that,
we might as well just call this season 2 of Talking Toku because we took a big break and now we're starting with a bang.
I know, right? I mean, didn't we have an unofficial season 2? Like,
this is actually it.
This is actually it. Okay.
This is it.
All right, I suppose I can mark this as season 2. Anchor lets me do
We've
that.
Made
with
it.
A couple of episodes. So I guess welcome to Talking Toku season 2. I guess. All right, Brian?
Maybe
here, Brian. Tell me what's new on season 2 of Talking Toku. What new things are we bringing to the table with this new season?
My foot's broken.
Okay. That's
it.
That's some good character development.
That's my character arc. Is my foot is broken, and throughout a bunch of the episodes after this, I will be in my healing process.
Hey,
so Brian, there you go. That's it.
You should tell all the listeners what your current setup is.
Oh no, my setup is back to normal.
Oh, okay, never mind then. Damn, would have been funnier.
For the listeners who wanted to know what he's talking about, who I don't know who you people are, but you're weird. I had just moved house. Literally 2 days after breaking my foot, I had to move.
Mm-hmm.
But so after I moved, I didn't have my desk because I couldn't move it because my foot was broken and no one was around to help. And so I had my computer and my monitors and all my stuff just on the floor, and I was playing from my bed while my foot was elevated, and it looked funny. It looked really funny.
Yeah, you sent me. It was pretty good.
It was the quintessential like caveman setup.
It really was, yeah.
Yeah, like college kid with no desk kind of thing. But that's that was what it was. But now I have my desk, so we're good.
Things are back to normal.
I can actually function as a human being instead of a Neanderthal.
I mean, can you really though?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. Well, because we've been gone so long, we have a lot of news to catch up on. So, Brian, you wanna kick us off? Want to tell us what's going on in the news recently?
Sure. So we've been gone a while, so we have lots of news. First up, synopsis for the still untitled sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong. This latest entry follows up the explosive showdown of Godzilla vs. Kong with an all-new cinematic adventure, pitting the almighty Kong and fearsome Godzilla against a colossal, undiscovered threat within our world, challenging their very existence and our own. Oh my god, I hope they don't put fucking Destroya in this goddamn movie. I will literally shit bricks if they do. In the bad way, not in the good way. Fuck.
Just to be clear, that's not part of the synopsis.
Okay. The epic new film will delve further into the histories of these titans, their origins, and the mysteries of Skull Island and beyond, while uncovering the mythic battle that helped forge these extraordinary beings and tied them to humankind forever.
Okay, here's my take. Here's my take on this.
It's Zilla.
No, if this colossal undiscovered threat, if this is something that they have an ancient rivalry with, I will fucking shoot myself. I'm so they've done it only twice now, but it's already exhausting. I'm tired of the ancient rivalry bullshit. I'm so
ancient
tired
rivalry.
of it.
It made sense with Ghidorah, and it
kind
made less sense with Kong.
Yeah,
but like, if seriously, come on.
Yeah, no, it's already gotten old, and something different, for the love of God, please, something different. That's all I ask.
It's literally like blue beam firing into the sky levels of cliche at this point.
Yeah, really.
In fucking superhero movies. God, it's annoying.
Yeah. So I think that movie is still scheduled to come out next year. Or no, 2024. It's 2024, not 2023.
If it was 2023, I wouldn't believe that.
I think it was initially scheduled for next year, but then they pushed it back. Or I have no idea. I mean, we fucking reported on that, but it's been so long. All right, you guys think I remember what we report on episode to episode? Because I fucking don't, all right? I really don't. I copy things down that seem important, and then, like, the day after I edit the episode, I've already forgotten about it, because that's the last I hear of it until something new comes out.
Bad fan.
I'm not a fan, Brian. I'm the host.
Bad fan.
Hey, speaking of fans, we actually, just because we have an actual fan now, I'm going to give her a shout out. I'm going to give your girlfriend a shout out, Brian.
My wonderful girlfriend, Sam, who watched Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla about 3 days after I started talking to her. And she said that it was one hell of a trip. And that's when I knew I really liked her.
Yeah. She gave the dub specifically 5 stars, which, that keep her right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
hi,
base
Sam.
as hell, dude.
It is. Hi, Sam. You better still be listening to the podcast. You better be listening to this one.
I think she, from what she's told me, she has been listening to all of them, newest to oldest.
All right, so it's just gonna be on a downward spiral, is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
I told her what to expect.
Sounds good to me.
But yeah, our first official named fan. And hey, if there's any other people listening out there and your name is not Sam,
and you're not
hit us up on our socials.
Yeah, if you're not Brian's girlfriend. But
yeah,
and we may even give you a shout out on here.
And if you're like, I don't know, like famous, like, come on our show. You can be a friend of the show.
You could be a friend of the show if you really wanted to. I don't know why you'd want to, but anyway.
I mean, it's not a very important accolade. But,
no, it's really not. Anyways, moving on. So
it's not gonna change your life.
Yeah, we got a lot to go over here, so I'm gonna keep things moving. Speaking of Kong, this was kind of a wild turn of events. Disney, like Walt Disney, announced an upcoming King Kong series for Disney Plus. We don't have any details about it right now. No dates, no plot details. We don't even know if it's going to be tying into the MonsterVerse. I don't think it will be, though. We'll get into that. But Stephanie Folsom, who recently helmed the Amazon series Paper Girls, is attached to write and executive produce, and that is really the only thing we have right now.
Is King Kong public domain?
So that's the thing. King, it's a weird thing that I always forget and every single time I talk about this, I have to look it up because it's kind of weird.
I'm looking it up right now.
I think it's like
King Kong is in the public domain because he is in the public consciousness. This means that more people blah 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 blah. I don't know. That doesn't help.
No, I think it's something where with like hold on. I have it here. This is where I looked it up last time. So the character King Kong is not public domain. Universal, I think, is the one who has it. But the story, the King Kong story, is indeed public domain. And I think, and I could be wrong about this, but I think that is why throughout the MonsterVerse, they've only ever referred to him as Kong, not King Kong. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I think that's the case. So, like, the character is not public domain, but the story is.
That's a super weird distinction.
It is.
That's very specific.
I don't know why it's like that, but that's the case. So as long as you're not like adapting that original story or what, I don't know, man. It's weird. Point is,
that's why I don't know. So what you're saying is that like this new show or whatever is going to be basically just an adaptation of the original story. Like it can't do anything differently.
That's I think it can't be that.
Oh, it can't be that. It has to be different.
I think it has to be separate from the original story. I think.
Oh. I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's so weird.
I know.
But okay.
But it's weird, and it's weird that fucking Disney of all people is doing a series too. Like they're kind of the last people I would expect to do it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think because it's Disney, it might be woke, Brian. Though it might be bad because it'll be woke.
Yeah, just like with that Prey movie, putting a woman character as the main character. That's so woke.
So woke.
So woke.
Putting women in everything.
How dare they?
As if a woman wasn't one of the main fucking characters from the original King Kong. So fucking woke.
God. So woke. I can't wait to see all those dumb comments on.
Oh, I know.
On whatever this new story is gonna be.
It's gonna be awesome. Anyways,
huge news, and some that we're both super excited for. On our last episode, we reviewed the new arena brawler Gigabash, and since then, Passion Republic has announced that they are officially collaborating with Toho to bring Godzilla to the game. And not only Godzilla, no date yet, or who else will be joining him, but I think it's safe to say that it'll be any combination of Rodan, Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Mechagodzilla. I remember exactly when you told me about this and sent me that trailer. I was fucking hyped because I feel like in my head I just couldn't believe it was happening because it's like such a small game.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like like Godzilla, they've been doing a lot of collaborations recently. Like, I mean, fucking Fall Guys had Godzilla.
True.
And they're
who had Godzilla before Fall Guys did?
Call of Duty. No.
Call of Duty. Oh, that's right, Call of Duty. But before them.
I feel like I should know this, but I'm blanking on it.
They had a really funny PUBG crossover.
Oh my god. That's right, they did. Wasn't it like kind of the same thing as that Call of Duty did too?
Yeah, it was literally just like Godzilla themed skins. I think it was when King of the Monsters was coming out.
Gotcha.
So they had skins for Godzilla, King Ghidorah, and I believe Rodan. I don't think they had anything for Mothra.
Damn. But yeah,
that was funny.
Godzilla and Gigabash. That's fucking rad, honestly.
I'm super excited because the combat in Gigabash is super goddamn fun.
It really is. I haven't touched it since we recorded, but like, I mean, obviously when they drop Godzilla, whenever that'll be, I'm picking that shit right back up again.
Wouldn't it be super funny if Toho just like hijacked the game development and just put everything in there?
I mean, that'd be hilarious.
That'd be so funny.
Shitty for Passion Republic, but it'd be cool.
You know, actually, for real though, it would be cool if this is like a test run for Toho, and maybe they could like contract Passion Republic in the future.
Yeah, that'd be
That would
good.
That would be pretty. That would be
again,
pretty sick.
I mean, we talked about it when we reviewed the game. Like, the whole point of the game was to do like a spiritual successor to like stuff like the Pipeworks trilogy, which everyone's been clamoring for remasters of for God knows how long, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. But I mean, if anyone were to do it, I'd love Passion Republic to do that. 'Cause, I mean, they're very clearly fans of the movies and the genre, so I'm all for it. Yeah,
I mean, just look at the character designs in the game.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah,
straight out of like it's basically just a huge love letter to all those old
absolutely
movies.
So,
I'm excited as shit. I can't wait for this. Don't know when it's happening, but I assume it'll be sometime next year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird that they didn't give a date for it in the trailer, but whatever.
It could be maybe in like the planning phase for what characters they want to bring over.
Maybe. Give me Varan.
Dude, honestly though, like if we're just kind of spitballing here, I really hope that they bring over some like the
D-listers,
quote unquote obscure characters. I feel like that would be really cool to have.
Yeah.
Like obviously you're gonna have Godzilla, but it would be cool to bring like some of the lesser known kaiju. Basically what I'm saying is put King Caesar in the game, man.
Honestly, King Caesar was like the second option I had in my mind for that.
Just put King Caesar in the game. He would be the funniest brawler ever. And honestly, like
fit the most.
I would
like the most in there.
Dude, I completely agree. I think he would fit really well with the existing cast.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm let's fucking go.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
All right. Well, moving on, the second All Monsters Attack convention has been confirmed for next year. I didn't put the dates in here. Oops, that's my bad, but I believe it's early May because I've been looking, and I will.
I think you said May 7th or something.
All Monsters Attack convention. It's like the 5th through the 7th, I believe, but I'm gonna double check on that. Why is this not loading? It's not loading. Okay, I'm just gonna say May 5th through the 7th and hope that's the correct case. If it's not, I'll edit it in later. Anyways,
I'll tell you right now. Hold on.
Okay, do it for me.
It is.
Hey, I was correct. I'm so good at my job.
What, May 5th through May 7th?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Anyways, yeah, so in addition to that, it will also be changing venues. No longer in Indianapolis, the convention will now be held in Chicago, in the exact same hotel that G-Fest used to be held in. My God, the absolute balls that the people at Days of the Dead have. That's fucking hilarious. That is so hilarious to me.
That is hilarious. Holy shit.
That I will also say that it is looking more and more likely that I myself will actually be attending this year. I have talked to a friend of mine who already has his hotel booked, and I said, "Hey," and we were just talking about who's going to be going. And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I might want to go. I might go if I can get a hotel." And he was like, "Well, you can just room with me. I have a hotel booked." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Not only that, I also still have flight credit from last time I tried to go to Chicago for G-Fest, and then COVID happened, so I still have about $125 worth of flight credit that I can use for anything. So,
must be nice.
I know. Yeah, so with guests already announced like Ultraman suit actor Ben Furia, Carl Craig from Gamera vs. Virus, suit actor Toshihiro Ogura from Godzilla Final Wars, Project Nautilus's own Sean Sumagase, who I'd really like to get on the show one of these days. I think I mentioned that on our 1-year anniversary episode. And suit actor Rie Ota from Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack. She played Baragon in that, and she is the one who I'm sure everyone who's listening has seen the adorable behind-the-scenes clip of her in the Baragon suit just going, "Rawr!"
You know who I showed that to?
Sam?
Yep. So she knows.
Excellent. Good.
It's one of the best clips I've ever seen.
It is really good, and I'm really excited to meet her too. I think they've announced a couple more guests since then. Let me see if I can remember who off the top of my head. TJ Storm they announced, who is the motion capture actor for Godzilla in the MonsterVerse. He's also done other things. I think he's Darth Vader in the Vader Immortal VR series. He was the Super Predator in The Predator, because that was such a good movie. They announced
Can't win them all.
They announced the physical actor for Cad Bane from the Book of Boba Fett, and also for Din Djarin in The Mandalorian. Because hey, spoiler alert, it's not actually Pedro Pascal on set most of the time. It's this guy, but I can't remember his name, unfortunately.
What? I don't believe you.
I know.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, they had
Disney lied to me.
They had a bunch of Star Wars actors last year too, like from Kenobi, I believe. I think they had the suit actor for Vader at last year's convention. But yeah, it's like a 99% chance I'm gonna go. I just haven't like bought tickets for it yet.
Yeah.
So hope to see you guys there. You know, if you're going and you see me, feel free to come up and say, "Hey, I know you. You're that talking Toku guy. Your podcast fucking sucks."
I may or may not be going.
You should go, Brian.
I'm gonna think about it.
Okay, and by that you mean you probably won't.
It means I'm gonna think about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna think really hard while staring at my empty movie shelf.
Fair. But yeah,
that's what my
Monster
life
Attack
is.
next year. Catch you there.
All right. Other stuff in the news. Toho dropped a new trailer for one of 2 short films that will be premiering at this year's Godzilla Festival in November. This one, Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex, is a sequel to the G vs. G film short from 2019. It features a new Gigan Rex, and people seem really into it. And I have not seen this trailer, and it sounds...
I haven't seen it either. I saw clips, not clips, but just like screenshots from it, and I'm like, hey, that looks neat, I guess.
Why is he called Gigan Rex, though?
I don't know, because he's a different Gigan.
Is he like
there are normal Gigans, and then there's this Gigan.
Is it like a hybrid, like from Jurassic?
No.
Oh no.
He's red.
Oh, he's red.
He's red. Yeah. The internet on this laptop that I'm using is just not working, so I can't even bring up a picture for you and put in the document. I'm sorry, Brian.
Don't worry, I'll look it up.
That being said, I think...
I see.
There
oh, wow, he is red.
He's red.
He looks kind of doofy.
Yeah, all the Gigans in that look doofy. Yeah, because the GVG short is literally like a minute long, but I think this is going to be like a full 30 minutes. So that'll be really cool.
That's pretty interesting.
That's all I have to say on Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex. So yeah. Anyways, finally, our last piece of news, as we caught up over the last month and a half-ish, we have some details on some Godzilla Day festivities. Firstly, if you live in a theater that carries Fathom Events showings, so like any like big name like chain theater like AMC or Regal, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla will be playing there on November 3rd. There was some confusion as to which movie they were actually going to be showing. And by that, I mean that when it popped up on like ticketing websites for people, it said Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, parentheses, 1974. So people were like, is it against Mechagodzilla or versus Mechagodzilla? So I saw one of my friends posted about this. He actually emailed Fathom Events about it and asked to clarify. And they were like, okay, yeah. So just to be clear, we are showing the movie Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, which was released in 1974.
That's not helpful.
It's
at
not
all.
helpful in the least, no. But just earlier today, they put out a trailer for it, and it is indeed the 2002 film. So it's Godzilla
Oh my
against
God.
Mechagodzilla.
That's a pretty good troll.
I know, right? It was pretty funny. But yeah,
Oh my
that
God.
should be actually really cool to see that on the big screen. And I'm probably gonna. I mean, I've seen the movie God knows how many times, but I've never seen it in theaters. So I'm probably gonna do
We've
that.
talked about it several times on here,
Yeah,
and it's one of
it's great.
our most one of our most cited movies for best character or best lead character.
Yeah,
So
so I'll probably go to see
I
that.
actually I have a Regal here in Bellingham,
There
so
you
I'll
go.
probably go see it.
You can take Sam to go see it, Brian.
I can. I've talked big about that movie,
There
so
you
maybe it's
go.
time to actually go see it.
Yeah. Put your money
And what
where your
better
mouth
way
is.
than the way God intended?
Than the way God intended.
The way God intended. Go seeing it on the big screen.
Exactly. Secondly, and this is even cooler, John Carpenter, yes, that one, will be hosting a marathon of classic kaiju films across various Shout Factory streaming services, starting on the 3rd with the original Godzilla, then the following day with Rodan, the day after with Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, before finally capping it off on the 6th with The War of the Gargantuas.
Oh shit!
This was he teased this a couple weeks ago by just posting a video of him sitting down in a movie theater, rubbing his hands together like he's getting ready for something cool, and then it fades away and says "coming soon," and it fades into a Godzilla roar. So like everyone was like, "Holy fucking shit! What is John Carpenter doing with Godzilla?" And I had all these theories, and then it was not as my theories were like way more interesting than what it actually is.
You thought that it was going to be like him releasing his short film that he made.
Yeah, that there was that theory. So for what I didn't even know about this until someone mentioned it to me. I guess back in the 60s, like the late 60s, I think 69, Carpenter released he didn't release. He made a short film that was Godzilla versus Gorgo that has never seen the light of day. And the fact that he had tagged like Shout Factory and stuff like that, people were like, are we gonna actually fucking see this movie? And I was like, oh, that could be really cool. My main theory was that he was gonna be releasing an album of Godzilla covers because he doesn't direct movies anymore, but he still does music pretty often, and usually that music is very, very good. Lost Themes 3, go check it out. It's a really fucking good album. But that didn't end up happening. I would still like him to do that at some point. So hey, John Carpenter, if you're listening, we're both big fans of your work. Big Trouble in Little China is like one of my favorite movies of all time. You should do a Godzilla covers album, man.
I mean, The Thing is my favorite horror movie ever.
Yeah, I mean, The Thing is The Thing. There's not much we can say about The Thing, about how good that movie is. But yeah, just do a Godzilla covers album, man. I mean, come on. What's stopping you? Probably Toho, honestly.
Release it. Do it.
But yeah,
come on. Fucking
cool.
John Carpenter and Toho can.
Yeah, no, I feel if anyone could get Toho to budge on something, it'd be John Carpenter. So yeah.
The absolute madman.
Yeah. So that's it for our news today. I have this on the document because holy shit, Robert, our social media manager, watched Mothra. But when I texted him saying, "Hey, we're going to be recording. Do you want to come on and watch Mothra?" He said, and I'll read off the text verbatim for you. So I said, "Hey, for sure, recording on Monday. You want to hop on at the start and talk about Mothra, maybe even Mothra versus Godzilla if you got around to watching that." And all he said was, "I completely forgot what happened in that movie."
Oh,
which, to be fair, he watched it over like a month and a half ago, so like that makes sense. But I can scroll up and tell you what he said about it. Let me bring it back up. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, he watched it on the 25th, August 25th, so over a month ago now. He just texted me saying, "Very good movie." I say, "Oh shit, did you actually watch it?" He says, "Yes." I go, "Incredible. Congratulations. Which do you prefer, Godzilla or Mothra?" He goes, "Mothra 100%. I go, in all caps, "Incredible. Truly a based take. Looks like he'll have to come on the show. Looks like he'll be able to come on the show." He said, "Can't wait." I said, "Brian is excited." He goes, "Shout out, Brian."
What? I got shouted out.
Yeah.
Didn't
Hopefully
save me from breaking my foot, though.
I know. Hopefully Robert will come on soon. I'll have to get on his ass about watching Mothra versus Godzilla, and then he can come on and talk about that one. But yeah,
absolutely.
Good on you, Robert. I know we watched Mothra. Very good. All right, Brian, it's time. The moment we've been waiting for.
Should we give some background into how we even started watching?
I think we should. Yeah. So you may remember, we mentioned that a couple months ago, Brian was here in town, and we got together to hang out, and we decided, hey, Jurassic World Dominion's coming out soon. We should rewatch Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And we did. We mentioned that on our what new cool kaiju thing are you checking out?
We got very high.
We got very high during it. And once the movie was over, we were like, well, now what? Now what the fuck do we do? Because I think it was like still relatively early.
Yeah, it was pretty early in the day, and it was after and I had a lot of time left because my flight was like late the day after. So I was like, let's fucking do something else.
Yeah, so jokingly, mind you, I pretty much meant this jokingly. I was like, Brian, we could watch Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, the Netflix series. And I don't really remember what your reaction was when I suggested that. Do you?
I don't think I was enthusiastic about it at first.
Maybe I'll take your word for it.
I think I took one look at it and I was like, all right.
That's that sounds about right. But point is, we watched the premiere episode and we were like, all right, that was kind of funny. And then and then like we kind of forgot about it for like a good like maybe a month or maybe half a month. I don't know. And
it was shorter than that. It was a couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't even remember what like. I really don't know what led us to pick it back up.
No, here's the thing.
Yeah,
I think we watched 2 episodes when we were hanging out.
Did we? Okay.
I'm pretty sure we watched 2 episodes when we were hanging out, and by the end of it, I was like, that was really funny.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure it was like a couple weeks later, and we were watching something else over Discord. Maybe. Or maybe I just brought it up naturally. I don't exactly remember what was happening.
Because I don't think Ultraman Decker had started by that time.
No, but basically what happened was I said, hey, Dave, you want to watch more Camp Cretaceous? Because I remember that the end of watching those first 2 episodes in person, I was like, I like that. That was funny.
Yeah.
We should watch more of it. And then you were like, I'm tired. And I was like, all right, I'm going home. So then obviously I went back home and then like 2 weeks later, I had forgotten about it. And then it reminded me about it. And then we went to go watch it again. Yeah. And that's how we started watching it pretty regularly.
Yeah. So long story short, we actually got very, very invested in the series, and we pretty much blitzed through all 5 seasons of it, and we just wrapped it a couple days ago on Sunday. When we were watching, so we would usually like wait till a new episode of Ultraman Decker had dropped, and we'd watch Decker, and then. So what I did at least, we would watch Decker. I would take an edible. Watch Decker. By the time Decker's done, the edible would have started to kick in a little bit, and then we would watch Camp Cretaceous, and we'd watch like 4 or 5 episodes at a time usually. So we watched we blitzed through this pretty easily. And I gotta say, it's like unironically like a pretty solid show. Like it's really good.
I want to say like a good like with watching it, a good like it's weird because it's one of those shows where I can't even put a percentage on how much of it is just kind of funny bad and how much I actually
that's the I
cared.
agree with that. Yeah.
I feel like I feel like the show, it was so good at getting you invested through how ridiculous everything was. And like just I don't know, it's so weird. I've never like watched a show that I was invested in but also really into just making jokes at its expense. Because usually with media, if you make a joke at something's expense, it's just not a good show.
Yeah, but that was not the case here, like in the least.
But the show was good, and we still made jokes at its expense, even though it was still good. And I've never had a relationship with a piece of media like that.
Yeah,
like ever.
I'm right there with you. It's a very like interesting phenomenon there that I don't even know if I'll ever be able to like recreate that phenomenon, because it was just I just think it was just so kind of perfectly made, which sounds really odd to say about this show. But it's just like perfectly tailored for us, I guess, because like you got all this kind of like objectively goofy stuff coupled with some actually really smart writing.
Yeah,
it's very weird. It's very hard to explain.
It is really difficult to like wrap my head around.
And just so you guys know, this like, I hate to tell you, but like the rest of the episode is gonna be like this. This is gonna be a very rambly episode.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Maybe we should get into like some like actual facts about the show in that case.
So we should probably like talk about like what the show is actually about for people who don't know.
Yeah. So I'll give some basic facts here. So, Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. It's a Netflix show. It's like it is a Netflix show, right? Like
it's a Netflix original.
Netflix. Yeah, and so there's 5 seasons of it. The 5th season is, I think the 5th season came out this year.
Yeah, right? It was relatively recent.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. So first season came out in 2020, and then the season 2, 3, and 4 all came out in 2021.
Holy shit!
Wow. Oh my god, that's incredible. So season 2 came out in January 22nd, and then in May the 3rd season came, and then in December the 4th season.
All right.
And then the final season was released July of this year. So they had a really fast turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of tell because like objectively the animation is not that great.
It's not good.
It is not a good-looking show.
A lot of our jokes came from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So basically, the show, you've got 5 main characters, or right? It's 5, right? No, 6. It's 6 main characters. Sorry. It follows 6 main characters. They're all kids who go to Jurassic World during the events of the first movie, is when the first season takes place. And it's Darius, Ben, Yasmina, or Yaz, they call her, Brooklyn, who's a fucking e-girl that we just call.
I feel like we should. I honestly feel like we shouldn't refer to her as an e-girl, considering she is underage, Brian.
That is true, but she's basically a fucking TikToker.
She's an influencer. We'll leave it at that.
Kenji and Sammy, and they are all very defined characters, so we should probably go over what it's all about.
Yes.
Darius is the like.
Darius
is like he fucking loves dinosaurs. He fucking loves them more than people.
Yeah,
his dad is dead.
His dad's dead. That was one of the jokes we would make throughout the show. Just like, I don't even know how to explain it, because like, This sounds so terrible, like trying to explain this joke, because it's such an unfunny joke. It's like an anti-joke.
Because one of his like main like things is that his dad is dead, and like that's why he like that's what gives him a lot of strength or whatever. And he like never brings it up except for like one time, aside from some flashbacks that we get in the first season. But for some reason, Dave and I just decided we're gonna turn this into a running joke where whenever anyone is going through anything, we just say Darius comes up and says my dad is dead.
Oh God!
It's like one of those jokes that's just so stupid because he never brings it up.
It was so stupid. Like we brought it up way more than Darius ever actually did in the show.
It was like almost never addressed outside of one scene of him talking about it.
Yeah.
And then a flashback.
And
then and then our second character on the list is Ben. Ben is like the kind of like, man, how would you even describe him before like I guess like train drop?
I don't want to say like a nerd, because he's not really a nerd. He's just
germaphobe.
Germaphobe.
He was like a germaphobe.
Yeah, he was a germaphobe. Kind of what's the word I'm looking for here?
Smarmy.
I don't want to say introvert, because that was more Yaz than Ben.
I think they were both kind of introverted.
Yeah, Yaz more so.
I mean, Ben was just kind of weird.
Yeah.
Ben was just kind of
weird.
Ben was just kind of the weird kid. Like I think he probably like pound for pound has the biggest change.
Character. 100%.
But we'll get into that.
Yeah,
we'll get into that. And then third is Yaz. She's like a athletic girl. She's like pretty introverted.
She starts off introverted because she starts off introverted. Her coming out of her shell, like that's pretty early on in the series. I feel so.
Yeah.
She's like she's usually athletic. I feel like she's kind of like the second in command. Yeah, in the group from Darius. I feel she's definitely the most capable. I feel
Darius is definitely the like main dude, like the leader man. But I don't know. I feel like everybody kind of has their leader moments.
No, absolutely, yeah.
But I feel like definitely Darius and Yaz have them a lot. Also, Yaz has PTSD. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into that later. Like, I think it was like season 3 or 4.
Oh yeah, it was later.
Yeah, so we'll get into that later.
Our fourth character is Brooklyn, who is the aforementioned influencer. She's famous, I guess. She makes like TikTok adjacent whatever, like videos for.
Oh no, she is famous, because remember there was that scene where they had like a cardboard cutout of her on the island.
Right, that's right. Because
she is like semi-famous.
Yeah, so she is famous. Think of her like I don't know, what's an equivalent.
I mean, we kept referring to her as Belle Delphine for like all throughout the first season, basically.
Yeah, but that's mainly because of the pink hair.
That's true. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
be a better.
I think overall, though, she's probably the least interesting character in the entire show.
Yeah, I'd say so. I feel like she's the one who goes through like the least amount of character development. Like she does, but like it's more subtle on her than anyone else.
Her whole character, like in my recollection, her character development is just like to be less online.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically, like she's just like I think one of the major like plot like one of the major arguments between the characters at first was just because she accused a bunch of people of stealing her fucking phone.
Oh my god, I fucking forgot about that. That was so stupid, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, that's yeah. Fifth character, Kenji. Kenji is rich guy, rich kid. We called him Rice Gum.
We did. We only did that like once, but like
we called him Rice Gum during the first season.
It was very accurate at the time. Yeah, Kenji is very kind of hoity-toity, you know, I'm
He's
above everyone
the
'cause I'm
class
rich.
clown kind of kid.
Yeah,
Class clown. He's like, my dad works for Microsoft kind of kid.
literally, yeah.
I think we've made that joke before.
Probably, wouldn't be surprised.
My dad works for Microsoft.
My dad's dead.
And then we got fucking Sammy. Oh boy, do we got Sammy. She is a goddamn weirdo.
She's a
is what
farm
she is.
girl. She's a country gal.
She's a country gal with a super convincing Southern accent.
Oh my, yeah, that accent was rough.
Definitely not faked at all.
Yeah. Sam. All right. So I guess so. We've gone to the characters. Sammy's the one who she wow, because it's revealed, I think, in the first season, isn't it, or is it in this season 2?
I'm pretty sure it was season 1 near the end.
Yeah, that Sammy is on the island as a fucking a corporate spy for a rival company, trying to, you know, find out the secrets to, you know, cloning technology from Jurassic World, which is such an out of left field reveal. Like, obviously they kind of build up to it because, like, oh, she's suspicious, but we don't really know why. But the fact that she's there for to commit corporate espionage, that was a fucking wild reveal to us, and that was the first of many, believe me.
And not only that, but she was blackmailed.
Yeah, she was being blackmailed too into doing it.
This child was being blackmailed into doing corporate espionage. So I think that around that time with that plot development, it set in that this show is going to be way more interesting than I thought it was.
For sure.
Because it was around that time, I mean, it should go without saying, but, you know, they're on Nublar when Jurassic World goes down.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole show is basically them surviving on the island without anybody. You know, they get left behind by their camp counselors.
Yeah, that's the thing. They review in the season 1 finale that, you know, obviously at the end of Jurassic World, the film, everyone evacuates the island to go home and leaving the dinosaurs to themselves. But in the season 1 finale, it's revealed they missed the boat and they're left behind on the island. You know, so they're trapped there essentially.
They're left there, and their camp counselors were dragged onto the boat. So now the camp counselors aren't even there.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I think it's season 2 through 2 and 3. They are just on Nublar surviving.
Yeah.
You know, they find out a bunch of secrets about the island. They find stuff about the Indominus. You have like that weird oh my god, you had that plot line. The poachers come to the island.
Yeah, that was kind of the main threat in season 2. They had these. Well, I thought they were initially, I think their cover was that they were like wildlife photographers.
Yeah.
But then it's revealed very quickly that they're not wildlife photographers. They're big game hunters. So they want to hunt the biggest game of all.
They find a decapitated head of a. What was it?
Oh god, I'm trying to think. I'm not.
Is it a Triceratops? I feel like it was a Triceratops.
I think it was a Sinoceratops.
Sinoceratops? Okay.
I don't think we ever saw a Triceratops in Camp Cretaceous. I think it was only.
I think you're right. Yeah. So it's you know, and that's when I think Darius found it, and that's where Darius was like, "Oh, these are some bad guys."
Yeah.
My dad is dead.
My dad is dead, and these are some bad people. Also, it's not at all important to what we're talking about, but season 2 features a shot which made me very, very uncomfortable to look at. There's a scene with Darius, and he's feeding a Gallimimus. And it cuts to a POV shot of him. But for whatever reason, the camera is not like a POV shot from his face. It appears to be a POV shot of his hand for some unknown reason. And just the way, just how close the Gallimimus comes up to the camera and just the angle, it's just a very uncomfortable shot to look at. And it still like kind of haunts me.
It's so funny.
I had such a Brian can confirm this. I had a very visceral reaction when we were watching that. Like, I do not like that. It was bad.
I remember you hated it, and I was just like crying, laughing. I was like, "What the fuck was that?"
It was so uncomfortable.
I feel like you and I had like the exact opposite reaction.
Honestly, yeah.
You were like upset. You were like upset by it, and I was just like laughing and crying.
I mean, it was a mixture of both for me, but like it was. I think like the uncomfortable. I think that won out in that scenario.
Yeah.
Oh,
God, that was so funny. Oh
yeah.
boy.
But
okay.
So at the end of season 2, the big game hunters get their comeuppance by being eaten by baryonyxes.
Yep.
But hey,
God, do we hate the baryonyxes?
Oh yeah, fuck the baryonyx. Specifically, fuck the Jurassic World baryonyx. Real life baryonyx, good shit. That's a good dinosaur.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they realize, hey, those guys are dead, but
they had a boat.
Their boat's still here. We could like use that to like go home. Holy fuck, Brian. I just realized we forgot to mention a very important character.
Yes, we did.
How could we forget about Bumpy?
Well, we also forgot to mention Ben.
We talked about
what happened to him.
Oh, we did. Oh my god, what the fuck? Yeah, so all right, so let's talk about Bumpy and then we'll talk about Ben. So Bumpy is a baby ankylosaurus that when the kids
she's blue.
She's blue. So that when the kids first come to the island, they're being given a tour by Henry Wu, and they end up being present for the birth of this baby ankylosaur, and it imprints on Ben, and he's at this point, Ben is still in his like, ew, gross, I hate this thing phase, but he still thinks she's pretty cute, so he calls her Bumpy, and that's kind of, we don't see her for a while after that. I don't think we see her until like season 2.
I don't think we do.
Yeah,
I think because well, what happens to Ben that we've been alluding to is that. Well, Ben falls out of a train.
Not
just
train,
any train. He falls out of the Sky Train.
Yeah,
the monorail. If you remember from the hit movie Jurassic World, starring Chris Pratt, there is a monorail that is elevated super high in the air because you're in a super futuristic park with dinosaurs, so you've got to have that.
Yeah.
They're taking that to hopefully catch the ferry off the island that they miss. And they get attacked by pteranodons. And for some reason, everybody but Darius kind of panics. And they don't help Ben. And Ben falls out of this monorail that's suspended like 50 feet in the air.
But that's the thing. Like, they're not panicking, though. Like, Darius is like holding on to Ben. And like everyone else is just kind of standing there watching, like not even attempting to help. It was very weird to watch.
Yeah, it was very strange. And I feel like maybe I should go back and watch it to like
confirm
as a double take kind of thing. Like, is everyone actually just kind of standing there? But yeah, so anyways, Ben falls out of the train and we assume that he maybe dies. I think that you and I were thinking that he actually did because he was such a nothing character in the first season.
Honestly, Brian, I could not fucking tell you.
Because this whole show, it actually felt like a journey. Like, actually did. So I actually don't remember a lot of the details of the first season. Definitely because we were high.
We were intoxicated.
The majority of
under
it.
The influence.
But also because like it actually did feel like a bit as a show. Anyways, we find out through, I think it was an after credits.
I don't think they even had any after credits.
Or maybe it was just like a teaser thing, like near the end of the episode. But basically, it shows Ben on the ground and like Bumpy's foot stomps down kind of like near him. And I think that's all we get.
Yeah.
And then in the second season, and then in the second season, I think it was after a couple episodes, like maybe episode 5 near that. Ben comes back with Bumpy, and he's turned into like full like forest man, like caveman dude.
Yeah, he's
he's wearing like wood armor.
Yep,
wood armor. He's got like a headband. and he like knows the jungle and everything. He went to go fight Toro.
Yeah,
Which is
Toro was the
funny.
Carnotaurus who was like the main threat aside from the Indominus Rex in season 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get like a whole. So you guys know Avatar: The Last Airbender, the episode Zuko Alone. We basically get that for Ben to show what he's been doing ever since, and it's honestly like a really good episode. Like,
yeah,
you know, we have Ben, like he's you know, trying his best to survive on his own. He doesn't have any shelter because every shelter he makes, Bumpy decides to take it for herself, and he actually like snaps. Like he legitimately snaps, and like we kept referring. This is another
his
running
Joker
joke.
moment.
Yeah, that was another running joke of ours. Like everyone having their Joker moment of the show. That was Ben's was trying to survive on his own, and he just goes full on survival man, and it was honestly kind of incredible to watch, like having him single-handedly take on a Carnotaurus.
Yep.
Of all things, like goddamn, good for him.
Yeah. Oh man. And I think and I remember that like I always like when we were watching the show, I was always talking about like how weird it is that his voice is just the same kind of like the normal Ben voice, but now he's like all tough and shit.
Yeah,
and it's just super weird to me. But man, that I will admit that episode was super awesome.
Yeah, it's really
and
good.
Basically, and that's what we mean by Ben going through the most amount of character development because now he's like the tough guy of the group. Like he actually knows what he's doing. And also he really loves Bumpy.
He does.
Bumpy is his best friend.
Yeah, like fuck all the actual human characters. Ben very much cares about Bumpy more.
Yeah. So season 3, we get another hybrid while we're running around the island trying to fix the boat.
Yeah. So this part, like it was kind of hinted at like throughout season 2. Like there was this door down in your favorite part of the series, Brian, down in the tunnels.
Oh my god, the tunnels! There are so many tunnels in this goddamn show.
I mean, it's more of a thing where they had the assets, and it was a low budget show, so they just made the most of those assets.
They did.
Yeah. So there's this mysterious door, you know, because as well as Sammy trying to like commit corporate espionage, Brooklyn's on her thing like, oh, she's gonna unbox Jurassic World to see what's really like all the cool stuff that's going on. So they kind of hint towards this mysterious project, and we find out in season 3 is that it's this other hybrid that we didn't know about, and it actually is the precursor to the Indominus Rex. It was a failed hybrid called the Scorpius Rex, which, let me say, objectively, stupid design. Like, it's ugly, and they talk about that in the show. They're like, this is ugly, we can't show this to people, like we can't show this to park goers, like no one's gonna want to see this dinosaur. But it's also like fucking terrifying. Like if I were to see that thing in real life, I'd probably shit myself.
Yeah. No, I remember because they because you knew that there was another hybrid.
I did, yes.
And you knew that it was ugly. And you were deliberately not telling me anything about it.
Correct.
Because they kept fucking teasing it.
Yeah, so season 3
they teased it for like 5 episodes straight. And I was
season
like,
3 they increased the amount of episodes from 8 to 10. So they built it up a lot more. And I don't think we even see the Scorpius Rex until halfway through the show.
No.
What's the season?
No, we don't see it. We don't see it for a while.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn it, I want to see this goddamn thing. And yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, holy shit, that thing is ugly. But the way that the thing moves and it like acts,
yeah, it's
how
essentially
it, like,
the
climbs
Predator.
On trees. What?
Yeah. Also, I'm like 90% sure that the roars they used to make the Scorpius roar, I'm pretty sure a couple of them used the 1998 Godzilla roar. I have to
Oh
double
yeah, I
check,
remember that.
but like I'm pretty sure they used that in there. So hey, there's your
No,
kaiju link to this episode.
yeah. No. I remember that. I remember when we were watching those episodes, you like had said like, "Hey, that's the '98
Yeah.
Godzilla roar," and then because it was like kind of it wasn't like its full on roar. It was like
Yeah, it was
it's
just
kind of
yeah, like they didn't like they mashed it up with other sound effects to more hide it. But listen, I love me some Godzilla. I know a Godzilla roar when I hear it.
Me too. Yeah. Um. Anyways, I don't know. I mean, obviously they fight, or they don't really fight it. They just kind of run from it, and
I mean, they tried their best to fight it, but there's only so much you can do.
yeah, there's not really a whole lot they could do. Their camp gets destroyed.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
they go to.
I don't even remember how they defeat the Scorpius.
Didn't even mention it. But Blue makes several appearances in this show.
Like unironically, Blue is in Camp Cretaceous more than she is in the entirety of Jurassic World Dominion, which is very sad. Yep.
And not only that, but in season 3, Darius does the hand thing.
Oh my god, the hand thing. That became such a meme. I mean, that's a meme outside of Camp Cretaceous. That's just a meme for the whole of Jurassic World.
Well, you and we were fucking waiting for it.
We were
as soon as we knew Blue was in the show, we're like, holy shit, Darius has got to do the hand thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's got to do it because Blue is in the show, and Blue is synonymous with the hand thing.
This is correct.
Anyways, so they bring the Scorpiuses to, I think it was Blue's hideout.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like that same building.
Yeah.
And it turns out that there's 2 Scorpius Rexes.
Yeah, because they can asexually reproduce.
Apparently, it's like a world-ending threat because they can asexually reproduce, and they're like, we got to kill these things. Like, we got to cold hard murder them.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's no way they can get off the island, so feasibly some world military could just nuke it, and it would be fine. And they end up, the 2 Scorpiuses hate each other, so they end up getting in a fight. They bring down the building, and then they both die.
Oh, that's how they die. Yeah, I couldn't remember how they defeated the Scorpius at the end.
Yeah. Obviously, we're kind of just blitzing through the plot of this whole show.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's 5 seasons long, so there's
we're kind of just skimming through.
Yeah. Like I said, this is going to be a very rambly episode. I warned you guys at the beginning.
I think it's going a lot better than how it could have how it could have, Yeah. Anyways, so I believe it's the end of season 3 or the beginning of season 4. I think no, it is season 3. We have one of the most genuinely shocking tie-ins we've.
Oh my god!
Dave and I, we were not prepared for it.
We really weren't. So eventually, Henry Wu comes back to the island to get his research.
Yeah,
and things start to line up in a very specific way, and Brian and I kind of caught it when we were like, What's going on here?
It was the end of season 3.
Yeah, it was close to the end of season 3.
It was the last episode.
Was it the last episode?
It was the last episode. It's the episode episode 10 of the season called "Stay on Mission."
I'll take your word for it. Sorry, I'm a little tired, but yeah, things start falling into place. There's a storm coming. There's people on the island. And then Rexy, the Tyrannosaurus Rex, comes in, and we're realizing, oh my god, this is the beginning of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Yep.
And we see Rexy attacking the helicopter like she does at the beginning of that movie. And Brian and I fucking lost it. We were not prepared in any way for that to tie in. It was insane. Like we were legitimately freaking out because we were so taken aback by this turn of events.
I think I had said to you, because there was a bunch of helicopters flying around, and I said, "What if this is the beginning to Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom?"
Yeah, and I kind of laughed it off at the time.
I didn't think that they actually were going to do it, but then as soon as because like the kids, they were kind of watching it all kind of go down.
Yeah.
And they were probably like 50 feet away from everything going on. And as soon as I saw Rexy chasing the helicopter and grab hold of the ladder, I'm like, there's no fucking way they're doing this. and then it's literally exactly from the movie. They get away, and then what's the thing's name? What's the sea thing's name?
Oh, the
I'm
Mosasaurus?
blanking right now. Mosasaurus jumps out of the water, eats the guy off the ladder.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's the beginning of Fallen Kingdom. Let's fucking go. That was crazy.
That I think is the moment that got the most like reaction out of us.
I think from then on, I was all in.
Yeah.
I was all in. I was like, I don't even care if I'm not high to watch this. I'm all in. It was legitimately awesome.
It was shocking. It was actually shocking.
There was nothing meme worthy about it. It was actually a really well built up thing because from this point we have absolutely no indication for how long they've been on the.
I think
no
at
indication.
At the beginning of season 2, it's been like 6 months, but past that, we have no indication whatsoever.
Yeah, we don't hear, like, we know about as much as the kids do.
Yeah,
through all of it, and the fact that they already had something going on, like they had these helicopters kind of coming in doing their own thing. Dr. Wu is back, and it's like, its own story, and then it just crescendos into literally the beginning of Fallen Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's literally just like a step back from that cold opening, and it's just so weird to see it.
And from like a different perspective too. That was the part that made it so effective, is that we were literally seeing a scene we'd seen before just from a different perspective, and I think that was what was really cool about it.
Yeah, it was so sick. It was genuinely one of the highlights of watching it.
Would you say it was your favorite scene in the whole entire movie, Brian?
Honestly, no meme. Absolutely. I think it was the highlight of the show for me.
I think you're right.
That scene, I just think it was so crazy and so well built up. I think that actually might be, no lie, my favorite scene in the whole entire show.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. And on top of that, if in case we our conjecture about Ben really loving Bumpy and literally not caring about anyone else, in this same episode, Ben needs to be convinced to leave the island without Bumpy because he loves Bumpy
Ben
so
does
much.
not want to leave the island. He just loves Bumpy. He does not want to go back to fucking his parents and civilization. He wants to stay on the island and hang out with Bumpy. And
he does not care.
He does have like a relatively understandable argument. Like he's like, I am an entirely different person now. I don't know who I would be if I went back home. And that's honestly, that's a pretty good argument. Like I understand that. Like, how would his parents react to this basically entirely different person coming home to them? Like,
well, his new personality was formed on the island.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like he wants to stay on the island logically. Like that completely makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. It's a completely understandable argument.
At the very end of the episode, they start to leave, and then like they're kind of watching, and then obviously Ben comes running back into the dock, like, "Wait, please, don't fucking leave me here." And it's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we knew that was coming."
Yeah.
And then in season 4, at the beginning of season 4, they're on the boat, they're going home. The fucking Mosasaurus attacks, and they get...
If you run Fallen Kingdom, the gate to the open ocean. All well-made aquariums are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at you, Jaws 3D.
I'll take their word for that. I've never actually seen Jaws 3D.
Jaws 3D, they literally have like a dolphin pen, mm-hmm. and there's literally just a door that leads to the open ocean.
Nice.
Like there's no pool in between to make sure that there's like a safety. It literally just
good.
Door open ocean.
What a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely incredible design.
So yeah, Mosasaurus
So
attacks, and they they wind up on another island. Now I'll tell you, Brian, because I this was another thing I was keeping quiet about because I knew this was gonna happen. Um, I was under the impression that they were gonna end up on Isla Sorna. I was under the impression that the island they wound up on was Isla Sorna. So it was kind of a shock to me that it wasn't Sorna. It was a third island that we'd never heard of before.
well, that's what I thought they were gonna do because, like, as soon as I saw that after they got attacked by the mosasaur and they ended up on another island, I was like, it's got to be Isla Sorna.
Mhm.
Like, it's got to be. Like, we haven't seen it since Jurassic Park 3, and like it would just make sense and it would be a pretty cool tie-in. But yeah, apparently this is an entirely new island that is run by a completely different company.
Yeah, which is odd.
Who is the same company that blackmailed fucking Sammy.
Yeah, we're circling back to that. It's like poetry, Brian. It rhymes.
Yeah, yeah. So this company is called Manticore, and they are.
And that would be not Manticore. It's Manta Corporation. So it's cool. It sounds like Manticore, like the mythological creature. It's cool like that.
What you said. So literally they end up in this place. They almost die in the desert.
Yeah, which has a fucking saber-toothed tiger, I should mention.
Which was the biggest, because I remember when you and I were watching this was like completely uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Because this is like a new island, and at this point we were still kind of expecting it to be Isla Sorna.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. I mean, because we were like, we've never seen a desert, but like maybe we haven't seen the whole.
Yeah.
Who knows? It turns out that this is a biome that is artificially made on this island by Manticore. And there is a fucking saber-toothed tiger in there because why not? Which I actually think is really cool because you have all these dinosaurs that are brought back through, genetic modification. Mm-hmm. Why not bring back a saber-tooth or like a woolly mammoth or something?
I mean,
it's kind of disappointing that they only bring back a saber-tooth and nothing else.
Yeah.
But,
maybe if they had more budget, we could have seen more creatures.
That would have been cool.
We're starting a Kickstarter, remake Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous and give them a fuck ton of money.
Absolutely, let's go. Or just even take it and then patch more
it.
Yeah, like a video game.
Oh, very nice.
Man, this, here's where I realized that the last 2 seasons get really dense.
They do, because they're both much longer.
They're both much longer, and they have much more going on.
Yeah, season 5 alone is 12 episodes, which is 4 more than the first 2 seasons. So there's a lot more to it.
So they make it through the desert, and then they go through these. It's like a weird invisible door. Like it's like the biomes, they're encased in like invisible walls, instead of fences.
Mm-hmm.
And to get between them, you have like these hallways that are invisible that we, to this day, still have no idea how you even know where the door is. But
that's a good
whatever.
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
They never addressed it.
They really didn't.
They never did. They just knew. They just happened upon it, and then they just remembered where it was, I guess. And they did that for every single door on the entire island. Anyways, so they make it to the jungle biome, I guess, and they meet Dr. May Turner, who is like.
I'm shocked you remembered her last name, Brian.
I have Wikipedia open.
Gotcha.
She's like, I'm not reading everything word for word. I just have it up for names.
Okay.
And so she's like studying these 2 T-Rexes with the best fucking names, Big Edie and Little Edie.
Yeah. Good stuff.
You can't get much better than that.
You really can't.
And she's like researching them, and she's like deep, like I guess it's like deep cover kind of thing where she can't contact anyone outside of the island.
Yeah.
And basically she's like, what the fuck are you kids doing here? And then they like explain it to her, and she's like, okay, that's weird. And this is around the time where we find out that there are these weird dinosaur thingies called Brads.
They're
like
actual
robots. they're robots and they're like helpers on the island where they carry out tasks and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. And so that's like refilling food dispensers, whatever. Please add them to Jurassic World Evolution 2. That would
Oh
be
my God,
absolutely
that would be amazing.
hilarious. Hilarious if they did that. Um, let me see here. And so I don't even really know. Like, it's gonna be so difficult to go over the season because everything just kind of happens.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
So the kids figure out that the Brads are actually giving this weird like substance to the T-Rexes that made them fight,
Mm-hmm.
and they figure out that the Brads did it, and then I guess the Brads kind of catch on to them, and then they start trying to kill the kids, like straight up kill the kids.
Yeah.
Because we witness a Brad murder a compy, like disintegrate it,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that the Brads are on, after the kids and whatever, and then the kids, they destroy the Brads, they stop the like this weird substance from being put in the food, and then you have the man himself, Cash, gets all pissy about it. Cash is the bad guy on this island.
He is.
Who's in charge of the Brads. They're his robots, and he's all mad about it, and he wants the dinosaurs to fight each other. And so he makes his way down there. He starts fucking shit up with his drones and whatever. And that's when another big revelation for Sammy comes out, where Sammy's like, "Oh my God, that is the guy, the specific man who blackmailed me and my family." So Sammy has her Joker moment in this season,
Mm-hmm.
where she is like, "I'm gonna fucking kill this guy," which is
Yaz also has her Joker moment of the season too, and one of the like strangely serious moments of the show, like way more serious than you could possibly imagine. It's when like they're being chased by one of the Rexes. I don't know if it was Big or Little Edie, but she's hearing the stomping coming towards her, and she just fucking freezes. Like, she has legit, and like this is totally understandable too. She has legitimate like PTSD from all she experienced on Isla Nublar, which like, yeah, you probably would. Surviving on there for however long you were, getting chased by dinosaurs probably every day. Of course you would have PTSD from that. And
there's also the scene where she like hallucinates seeing all the big predators.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. She was walking around and she like hallucinates the Indominus Rex walk out like behind some trees, and both you and I were like, "Excuse me?"
We were.
And then as soon as we saw the T-Rex and the Carnotaurus come around, we were just like, "Oh, okay, this is a hallucination."
Yeah. And she had this really like kind of incredible scene where she kind of breaks down and confesses to her friends that like she's really, really struggling, and it's such a wildly well written scene for this like literal children's show that like it feels weirdly out of place because it's such a serious topic. And yeah, like cartoons can cover serious topics, but like it's never like been to this degree. There's no other show I've seen where it's been to that degree of covering something as serious as PTSD.
Yeah, it was really, because I remember like when we were watching it, and we like, because the hallucination happened beforehand, and I remember saying jokingly, "Oh my God, Yaz has PTSD," and then without even knowing that that's actually what it was, and that the show is actually going to go in that direction, she actually has like a mental break, and I was just not ready for it. I was like, "Oh my God, they're actually doing it." And it was actually handled really well.
Honestly,
it wasn't like goofy. It wasn't goofy at all.
They played it very straight.
This is the thing that we're talking about, where it's like this show, it's such a weird balance of being able to laugh at it, but it also genuinely being good and engaging.
Yeah.
Like you have these like actual legitimate character moments that are really good and earned and well thought out. But then you also have shit like Darius saying my dad is dead,
which again was not actually a thing. It was just a joke we made.
Or the hand POV camera, or the Brad X, which we'll get to.
Oh, we'll get to that Brad X. Don't you worry.
Like, it's just like shit like that. Again, it's such a weird thing to articulate. The only thing I can say is that if you're listening, you need to watch this show.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm hoping that if you're listening, if you've gotten this far, you've watched it already, because
we've
spoilers
the whole
obviously
thing so far.
But even then, like, we have kind of skimmed over a lot of this show.
Because again, we're covering 5 seasons in one episode. So
like this is the very basic plot of the show. Like all of its best moments are not, we're not going to cover. Like, there's a lot of moments that are very fun and cool. So definitely, if you are listening to these spoilers, absolutely go watch it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so carrying on, on top of the Brad X's and on top of the Brads and Cash and all that other shit, we find out that May has found out how to communicate with dinosaurs.
On a very basic level. She has like this tablet of recordings of various creatures that communicate a specific feeling. So, you can hold it up to a dinosaur. Pierce, for example, who I don't remember what dinosaur he is, unfortunately. He's not a stegosaurus, I know that, but he's a very similar animal to a stegosaurus. You can hold it up to a dinosaur. It'll like kind of talk at it, and then it'll translate like, oh, like this is what the creature is feeling at the moment. Like, it's scared, or he's hungry or something like that. Very, very bare bones, but it's still like you're still communicating with a dinosaur, Like, it's still pretty revolutionary for what it is.
Yeah. It's like enough to be able to like basically talk to them in a very basic sense.
Yeah, you're not like carrying on a conversation, obviously, but like you can still, if the dinosaur it has needs and wants like any other living creature, they're alive like me.
They are alive like me.
Yeah, you can like provide for it. You provide what it needs.
Yeah, I mean, on that point, this is around the point in the show where they really start playing with the theme of dinosaurs are not just big scary monsters. Like, they are actually living things. So like in this, we have as I mentioned before, because of the weird drug that Cash put in the food, you had Big Edie and Little Edie get into a big fight, and I think it's Big Edie gets really injured.
I think so, yeah.
And basically, like, Darius is just trying to communicate with Big Edie while it's being healed, and like trying to get it to eat and whatever. And through communicating with it, he deduces that Big Edie is not eating because it misses Little Edie.
Yeah.
And so then one of the parts of one of these episodes is Darius trying to get them to reunite so that they can eat and get better.
They can live up to their name.
Yeah, and then on the other hand, you have fucking Cash being an asshole trying to get these dinosaurs to fight each other for his, at this moment, unnamed boss. And that's kind of the general direction of this season. It's just kind of like trying to sabotage Cash and his Brads to make the dinosaurs stop fighting. And to try to communicate that they're more than just things, creatures that fight and kill each other and whatnot. They're, and one of the best additions to the show in this season has to be the upgraded Brads.
The Brad X.
So once stuff starts going wrong for Cash is like, all right, I'm bringing out the big boys.
Well, what happens is, because at this point, Cash doesn't know anyone else is on the island. He just thinks it's him and May. He doesn't know the kids are on the island. Darius kind of infiltrates Cash's compound at first to try to, stop Cash from what he's doing, but Cash discovers him, and Darius is like, hi, I was on Nublar. It was just me. I survived on my own. And so
all right.
Cash kind of is like begrudgingly takes Darius under his wing because like he doesn't, you know, at this point Cash is like, he's not evil, but he's still a shitty person, but he's not evil, so he's like, fine, I'll take this kid, I'll make sure this kid doesn't fucking die. But Darius keeps kind of pushing his way into like sabotaging Cash's plans, one of which became another meme.
Oh my god. Are you a gamer?
No. So you're a gamer?
You're a gamer?
Cash looks like a gamer too, by the way.
He does.
You can just by looking at him, you can tell he's a gamer. But anyways,
Google image search him.
Just Google. I think you're gonna say Google image search a gamer, and Cash will be right there.
Yeah.
But so eventually Cash gets tired of like having to keep an eye on Darius, so he brings out the Brad X, which is a upgraded version of the Brads. And
that's right. It started out as a goddamn babysitter. I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Mm-hmm. So basically, Cash sends him to do this chore, and Darius is doing it. He's like picking up he was picking up like some damaged Brads is what he was doing, I believe. He turns around to look at the Brad X and he goes, "Are you going to help me at least?" And for like half a second, it cuts to this shot of a Brad X, full on, like profile shot right in front of its face, very, very close. And it cuts back to Darius. Again, in half a second. So it's supposed to be like a reaction shot, like it's not going to respond to him. But because it's done in such a short span of time, your brain like does not have the time to process the image, and it ended up being the most hilarious fucking thing we've ever seen. Like we mentioned how we lost it at the Fallen Kingdom tie-in. This time we just lost it because of how stupid it looked. Like I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard. Again, I was high at the time, so that probably had something to do with it. But it was just so unbearably funny to me.
We were inconsolable. Like
we really were.
We were non-functioning.
Like not at any point in this series did we have to pause. But this was the time we had to pause. It was just we could not. We couldn't. I had to stop and like take that in what I had seen. And it's to the point where if you follow me on Instagram, it's my profile picture on Instagram now. Also on Discord, if you're part of the Kaiju United Discord server that me and Brian are both in, it's also my profile picture on Discord. But it was just so funny. And it's gotten to the point
it's so good.
Where it's still a meme. Like Brian and I will send it to each other and to random people just with no context whatsoever.
It's a meme reaction for me.
It's so good. It's so funny.
It is so fucking funny.
Honestly,
dude.
If it had like another half second's worth of screen time, it would have been fine. But because it was on screen for like just half a second, it was just incredibly funny.
Oh my god.
I mean, you can tell just from like hearing us talk about it, we still are not over that scene. Still.
It's so funny. Like if I look at your profile picture for too long, I just start losing it.
Start giggling. Yeah. I mean, look at
it.
Look
so
at it.
Good.
Look at him.
I just like how his mouth takes up most of the fucking screen.
It's so funny. Oh god.
And it's so weird.
This is why you guys need to watch the show too, so you know what we're talking about.
The regular Brads, I actually really dug the design.
Yeah, they don't even look that funny.
They look like kind of murderous worker bots.
They look very much like the Boston Dynamics robots.
Yeah, they do. They look like that, but with heads.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they were going for, honestly.
But the Brad X's are literally just robot dinosaurs.
Yeah,
No lie.
which is really fucking funny.
And they look really goofy.
Mm-hmm.
And God, it's just so fun. It's so funny.
So good.
It's so good.
So,
okay.
continuing. Oh god, this is gonna be such a long fucking episode.
I know it really is.
Oh god.
Okay. Anyways, another thing I forgot to mention was that the beginning of this season, we started to be telegraphed on Kenji and Brooklyn's blossoming relationship, which as soon as it started, Dave and I were both like, please fucking don't.
It was more so you than me. You were so much more against it than I was.
It was definitely more me because I find them both incredibly cringy most of the time. But that being said, at this point, Kenji has definitely been less cringe.
Yeah, like he kind of proved himself over the course of the series. Obviously, like they couldn't keep him as that character for too long because it would have gotten too exhausting. So he's like proven he's still like kind of the jokester, but he's still a very capable character when it comes down to it. You know,
he's much more subdued.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, man, what else do we got here?
Well, we can talk about the slow build up to the finale of season 4, where we find out who Cash's boss is.
Yes, they have the chips in this though. So the chips where they put it in the dinosaur and it makes them do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even really know. Like, it seems like it was because Cash stole May's research, but Cash basically made these chips that control dinosaurs like a video game.
Correct.
And I guess it's by incorporating the talking dinosaur thing, maybe
something like
Is
that.
Right?
I don't remember. It was definitely like related, like it was piggybacking off that research.
Yeah, but basically that is like a big no-no for the whole kids. They're like, this is super fucked up. We have to stop this, instead of just getting up and trying to leave. This is where Darius really starts to like talk for the group, and there is some major pushback for it, but eventually people are just okay with it.
Yeah, because they still just want to get home, and Darius is like, but the dinosaurs,
I want to save the dinosaurs.
Yeah, which honestly, I don't blame them. Like, that's like, I would want to go home too.
Yeah, I think both parties I completely get it. Like, Darius really loves these dinosaurs, but then you also have these kids that just want to go fucking home, and Yaz is literally dying on the inside.
Yeah.
And she's broken her leg like twice. So, but yeah, so we're getting near the end of the 4th season. Again, sorry this is rambly. These last 2 seasons are very dense in content, because it's kind of blossomed into more than just survival at this point. This is definitely like corporate espionage. These last two seasons.
Oh, absolutely.
So we have been hearing kind of from Cash about, like, we've been seeing that he's on the phone with someone, and that he's got his boss, and we hear May that he's got a boss, that whatever.
Yeah, the whole reason that Cash is like trying to get these chips going is so they can present them to his boss, who's going to be here in like a couple days. So yeah, that's where we are, and we don't meet him until literally the final scene in season 4, where it's revealed that his boss is actually Kenji's dad.
Yep.
And I think you actually called it right before it showed him too.
Yeah. I mean, I jokingly said watch it be Kenji's dad, because Kenji's dad has been talked about before. He's like a rich guy.
Yeah.
And he even has like a suite on Nublar, which they've been to several times.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just like, well, rich guy, he obviously knows about Jurassic World because he has a suite there. So what if he's the boss of Manticore? Like, I guess it makes sense. And then it turns out that it is actually him. And Kenji's dad is not only an asshole, but he is a massive, massive gaslighter.
Oh,
He gaslights
100%.
the shit,
100%.
the shit out of Kenji. It is hilarious. It's terrible, but it's hilarious.
I want to say like Daniel Cohn is like probably the worst like TV dad I've ever seen. Just because he flip flops so much on like praising Kenji for his efforts and also being like, "Wow, you're kind of a disappointment, aren't you?"
Yeah,
Such a fucking terrible person.
Yeah, he really is. Anyways, so last season, here we are.
Yeah. We really gotta speed through this.
We gotta wrap this up.
This is already gonna be like over 2 hours. I can guarantee you.
Good Lord. Do you wanna go through some of it and then I'll piggyback off of you?
Fuck, I'll try.
You talk a lot faster than I do.
That's true, I do. But like, I gotta like remember what fucking happens in season 5 because like even though we just finished watching it, like you said, it's very dense. So like,
well, I mean, basically the beginning of the season, Kenji's dad is like friendly to the kids.
Yeah.
And is helpful. And then basically gaslights Kenji into like being his like, into playing more of a role, like being, his helper. And then, he drives kind of a stake between, Kenji and the rest of the group. And Kenji becomes more and more at his dad's side, and
which starts the everyone hates Kenji arc, which is
everybody
honestly,
hates
like, kind of out of character because like everyone is so ready to like just throw Kenji away, like, which is weird because like I don't know if you got the sense, Brian, but like it never seemed like Kenji had really done anything like too egregious to piss the group off.
I mean, he was kind of just like a dick sometimes.
Yeah, but like it wasn't
anything to be like, yeah, he's dead to me.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. But like everyone was like, so I say everyone, but it was really just like Ben and Yaz, pretty much.
Ben and Yaz really were hating on him. Sammy was just like, yeah, whatever your opinion, my opinion too.
Yeah.
And then
Brooklyn
was.
Brooklyn at this point is dating Kenji, so she's like still defending him, and then Darius has the fucking base take where he just says, "I don't care."
Yeah, he's like, the dinosaurs are what matters to me right now. And so, they like, and then what is it? The kids, they like get captured by. Well, for one, Cash gets like fake punished by Kenji's dad.
Mm-hmm.
And basically behind the scenes, away from the kids, his name's Daniel, right?
Yeah.
Kenji's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel is like behind the scenes, basically forces Cash and May to work with each other to get these chips going, and to get them ready for his like investors, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we also get build up to another person that's coming to get something from them, which we'll talk about, which is another tie-in. And so the kids, they get eventually they kind of like figure out that Daniel's a bad dude, and then Daniel has them captured by the Brad X's and thrown into a room. And meanwhile, Daniel, Kenji, and his like goons, they go back to Nublar on a plane. And they meet fucking Dodgson on the island. From the first fucking movie.
And also Jurassic World Dominion.
Also Jurassic World Dominion, which is also another fucking tie-in because they mention Biosyn by name. And that is hilarious.
The fact that Dodgson's the main villain in Dominion, but that works too.
Yes, that too. So basically on these episodes, you've got the group, Daniel, Kenji, their helpers, going around the island trying to find the dinosaurs that Dodgen wants to test the chips. They get Toro, the Carnotaurus. They get a Baryonyx. They have what was the Pteranodon that they had?
Dimorphodon.
A Dimorphodon, and they get Bumpy.
And that's against Kenji's wishes too. He's like, yeah, anyone except this one, please.
Yeah, anything but this. And then behind Kenji's back, Daniel gets bumpy.
Yeah.
Still. And when Kenji realizes this, Kenji's like, "Oh, my dad is an asshole."
And this officially starts another joke we made.
The punished Kenji arc.
We had been making it throughout the show, but this is when it actually starts. It was the punished Kenji arc, yeah.
So he starts working with May behind Daniel's back to, to get these dinosaurs freed, hopefully, and to try and collapse these plans. And so they take these, the boat back to the Dodgson leaves, obviously, because he gets everything, and they make a deal to manufacture these chips. So they go back to the island, and I think
we should mention
just
too.
Runs in.
We should mention that when they're on Isla Nublar, Dodgson finds the Barbasol can.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah! He finds the Barbasol can.
Like they're literally running from something, and he just kind of like falls on the ground, and it's right in front of him.
Wait, no, they were running from the Dilophosaurus.
Right. Just like in the first movie. It's my favorite scene in the whole entire movie.
This is my favorite scene in the whole entire movie.
Which honestly...
Oh, and then also another huge plot development, which kind of just goes nowhere, but seems like it's going to be big.
Yeah.
Is when they're all on Nublar, the main group of kids escapes, and then they find the power reactor for the island.
Yeah, I mean,
and there's a really weird.
And they're still on the other island. They're not on Nublar. So the power.
Not on Nublar.
Yeah. I don't remember what happens to the reactor exactly, but it goes.
I think a Brad X shoots it.
I think that's you're probably right. I think that's what it is. So that the reactor starts going critical, but it's unclear if it's connected or if it's just a fucking coincidence. But an earthquake happens on that island as well as Nublar. And Brian and I were convinced that was going to tie more into Fallen Kingdom, and it was going to trigger the volcano to start erupting, which never happened, unfortunately. But we were convinced that was going to be the case.
But we did find out why it happened on both islands, and that's because the power core drills down into a fault line.
Right.
And that made more sense, even though it's still very coincidental that both islands would feel it as strongly.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
The other. There was a really funny idea that we both had that what if the kids just sailed in a circle by accident?
Yeah, I think that would have been really fucking funny.
But then we were just well, then they would have found the invisible doors at some point.
This is true.
But yeah, so they anyways, back to the punished Kenji arc.
Mm-hmm.
Kenji comes back with his dad on the boat carrying all the chipped up dinosaurs being controlled by all these really hilarious looking goons.
Yep.
We get I just forgot, in season 4 there was a scene where a dude was riding a Spinosaurus.
That's true, he was. And we were very excited about that.
We were very excited about that. We were not happy to learn that that Darius did not, in fact, ride a dinosaur.
Yeah, we never got to see Darius ride a dinosaur. Very disappointing.
That was disappointing. But I guess it is kind of made up for by the fact that Ben does ride on Bumpy most of the time, which is pretty sick.
It's he's pretty much on Bumpy. Whenever they're on screen together, he's pretty much on Bumpy.
Yeah. So during the transit from when Kenji and Daniel and everyone is coming back from the kids, they break out and they shut down all the Brad X's because fucking army of, and they change the password, delete all the files, and basically fuck up the whole operation. And apparently there's just a random flash drive that has all of the backup files and whatever, but they don't know that yet. Yeah. So when everyone gets back, so when Daniel gets back and he realizes what's going on, he's like, we got to find those fucking kids, and I am ready to actually murder them if they don't give me what I want.
Yeah, it was pretty shocking, honestly.
It was pretty shocking. This is where Dave and I every 10 minutes kept saying, oh my god, this guy is legitimately evil.
It is really weird how literally all the villains in this, all the human villains I should say, are like totally fine with literally murdering children.
Yeah. Oh God, it was really shocking.
Like for what it's worth, like as kind of ridiculous as it is, it's Jurassic World is still a fairly grounded universe.
Yeah.
But like the fact that so many people seem perfectly okay with literally murdering children is it's weird, isn't it? Just a little.
It's pretty weird, but also like big businesses, lots of money.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So while Daniel is trying to find the kids, you have Kenji kind of runs into Ben. Ben accosts Kenji for being a dick and having the mind control put in Bumpy. They both fight along with May to basically kill all the dudes, essentially. Not really kill them, but basically get them to drop the controllers, which breaking the controllers basically shuts off the chip.
Which seems way easier than it should be, but okay.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. And so they free all those dinosaurs, essentially. At least just Bumpy, because Bumpy's the only one that kind of sticks with them.
Yeah.
And they all go back to the forest biome where they meet up. And I called this. I said, Dave, there is going to be an endgame style final battle between the good dinosaurs and the bad dinosaurs. Because in the beginning of in season 4, near the end, we get introduced to a bunch of other friendly dinosaurs, like Pierce, who is what's Pierce again?
I can't remember.
He's one of the spiky ones. You have a couple hybrids, the twins, where it's Angel and
Pierce is a Kentrosaurus.
Kentrosaurus. You have the hybrids, which are it's like a Sinoceratops mixed with something else.
Yeah, I think they're a Spinoceratops because they're a mix of the Spinosaurus and a Sinoceratops. So I'm pretty sure it's just I think it was just a Spinoceratops.
Sure. And then you got Firecracker, and Firecracker is a baby Bronchosaurus. And so they're all hanging out at the water along with some of the other dinosaurs like Little Edie and Big Edie, who Darius has been learning to talk to with the iPad.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, you have fucking Daniel, who's pissed as shit. He's like, I'm going to kill these fucking kids. And he comes in mind controlling all of the bigger predators that were under his control, like the Spinosaurus, the Dimorphodon, the Baryonyx, I think, as well. And God, was there another one? I think that was it.
I mean, right? Did you mention Toro?
And also Toro as well. And it's literally a dinosaur fight.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
It is pretty awesome. It's actually super brutal. Big Edie gets the absolute shit beat out of her by the Spinoceratops.
She almost dies.
Much like Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
It's my favorite scene in the whole entire movie. But at the end of the day, good dinosaurs win, and the kids, they basically trick Daniel into leaving.
Yeah, it's actually very funny.
They trick him into leaving by having Kenji give him a false password or the real password to restart production of the chips, which then
causes the core to overload again.
Yes, causes the core to overload again, and then they're like, "Oh my god, what are we gonna do?" And then Daniel's like, "There's nothing we can do. I have to leave."
Yeah,
he's like, "This place is gonna blow up," and then he just fucking leaves.
Yeah,
like he doesn't die. He just fucks off.
He attempts to convince Kenji to come with him, and Kenji's like, "No, these kids are my real family. Fuck you, Dad." And Daniel's like, "Okay, bye."
Yeah. And so apparently it wasn't actually the core because it wasn't a problem, and they literally tricked him by turning the lights on and off.
Yeah, they literally went, we do a little trolling.
Yeah. And God, that was a really funny reveal because I thought it was legit. They got me. I was like, oh my god, this island's gonna blow up.
In fact, it was very convincing, I must say.
Yeah.
But anyways, shortly thereafter, oh my god, Brian, we didn't even mention Sammy and Yaz.
Oh my God, we didn't. We also didn't mention Darius's
Well,
brother
I'm
and
about to get
Dave
into that
and
because I mean, honestly,
Roxy.
like they don't really matter to the plot all that much. Like
Yeah, they really don't.
they don't bring it up often enough for it to be very effective, and that's honestly one of the things I'm not too much of a fan of. Like I think they could have fleshed that out a little more, but
I
it's
agree.
whatever. Um, anyways, Sam and Yaz, they're together now. They're dating as well.
They're lesbians.
They are. It's good. You know what? Good for them. I think it's better. I
Well,
think it's
it
a
was.
better developed relationship than Kenji and Brooklyn.
Oh, I completely agree. I thought
yeah.
it actually was pretty well earned and pretty well built up.
I
agree.
think.
Because throughout the whole show, they've kind of been like, they've had like a pretty complicated relationship.
Yeah, because like there was the whole thing with that like Sammy was Yaz's first friend at camp, so like they have that.
Yeah.
They intrinsically have that rapport between themselves.
Yeah. So I thought it was pretty well built up. I still was not really a fan of Brooklyn and Kenji, and you know, I didn't really care about it all that much. But yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And I mean, are we gonna talk about Dave?
No, yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, that's how they get off the island. So shortly after Daniel leaves, and they're once again the kids are just kind of vibing on this island with May. So I think at the end of season 4, we have Darius's brother, who we've never known about until now. Darius's brother Brand. He's like convinced Darius is still alive, and he's trying to get to the island. And about halfway through season 5, he's been talking to Roxy and Dave, who were the camp counselors from season 1, and they interspersed through season 5. We see them kind of like go into Nublar and looking for them, and they eventually run into May, and then we don't see them again for another 4 episodes, which is why we didn't really go into it before. But they reunite. They get to the still unnamed island. I don't think they call it Manticore Island, which is really fucking original. So they go to Manticore Island. They're reunited. Darius sees his brother again. They both say "My dad's dead" to each other to as a greeting.
My dad's dead.
And they go back, and everyone gets back home safe, and then the really awesome, the best part of the finale, I think, happens is that we flash forward 3 years to the events of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Yep. Yes.
And
everyone's
older.
They all kind of
have weird haircuts. Kenji has the worst haircut.
Kenji has the K-pop BTS haircut.
He does. He really does, and it's kind of gross looking.
It is one for one. It looks really bad.
Darius, they just kind of made taller.
Yep.
Sam and
he was also speaking, like he was like speaking at like a.
He was like speaking out his experiences at like a conference, which is actually kind of cool. Sam and Yaz look exactly the same, just their hair is longer
and messier.
Yep.
I think they were camping.
Yeah, something like that.
Something.
Ben is back on the island
literally
with May. He has a mullet.
With May on the island. Yep.
And then Brooklyn has short hair, and she's doing her thing as an influencer, and she mentions the Lockwood Estate, which means she's at the Lockwood Estate during the events of Fallen Kingdom. And then Darius looks outside, and there's a dinosaur outside his window, and that's the end of the show. And
yeah,
honestly, it was a really great ending, and I agree. I think we were both very, very pleased with how the show ended, and obviously, if you couldn't tell, we were very pleased with the show overall.
Yeah, I think I had called one of my big predictions for how the show was going to end was they were finally going to make it off of the island.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to be like, oh my god, I'm so glad we're off the island. We're going to get back to the mainland, and there's going to be fucking dinosaurs, and there's just going to be like. Shit. And I kind of got a version of that.
Yeah, you were kind of right.
Yeah. But, I mean, but I think it was definitely like a more like, it was the best possible version.
I agree. Yeah. I don't think, I don't think like having them go back to the mainland and have it be like post Fallen Kingdom, basically, I don't think it would have worked as well. I think there would have been too much to really explain to them, essentially.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, also it was good just to see like where they were, like how they kind of transitioned after they got back. Because when they docked on the mainland, like you have a scene of them like meeting with their parents.
Yeah.
And some with other people's parents. Kenji.
Well, Kenji's dad's in jail, they said. They'd be taken into custody.
There is a throwaway line of Kenji's dad just straight up going to jail.
So Kenji gets adopted by Darius's mom. So they're living together now.
Also, completely forgot to mention, Cash, that guy, he gets eaten.
Yeah, it's pretty rad.
Which was really funny. He gets eaten by a bunch of velociraptors that he was fucking with.
Yeah.
And that was pretty funny.
Yeah. So
I just remembered we forgot to mention that.
Yeah, it's fine. So we are well over 2 hours at this point, so we should try to probably wrap this up soon, as in now, preferably. So
I guess we should give our like brief just review of it.
Yeah.
Like a couple words. If you want to go first.
Yeah. Honest, and I'm shocked that I'm saying this. I honestly think this is probably the best thing out of the Jurassic World franchise.
I agree. I think the exact same thing. And you and I have talked a lot about this, where it's like, I was going into the show, I did not expect to like it as much as I did.
No, absolutely.
And I
not.
definitely did not expect to like it more than any of the movies.
Yeah.
But like, and everyone knows our opinions on the Jurassic World movies. So it's not necessarily a high bar, but it is really crazy to me how high of a bar this show actually set for me.
Yeah.
Like, it makes all of the movies look even more pathetic.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Especially Dominion. Because even the corporate espionage portions of this show are done so much better than any of them in the movies.
Right.
Like, a lot of the Jurassic World movies are set around the corporate espionage aspect or the business aspect, stuff like that,
which is not very entertaining.
Which is, but and I think that is the downfall for a lot of the World movies, because they don't focus on the the absolute fantastical aspects of the park movies, where you have dinosaurs that are just kind of there. And it's like, oh my God, they're dinosaurs. They look fantastic. This is like, something, it's out of the ordinary. And who gives a shit? Like the corporate espionage of the first movie was in the background. It didn't matter as much. It was definitely a driving force to the downfall of the park. Don't get me wrong, but it wasn't up front and center. And so, with the world movies, they try to focus on it too much, and they fail for that. And everything just gets so muddied and, muddled and confused and stupid and overly ridiculous. And then you have this show, Camp Cretaceous, which does all of it super well in my eyes. There's only a couple things that I can really point to that I think are shortcomings of the show. And one of them I wouldn't even say is the animation studio's fault. It's just budgetary.
Yeah, like if they had better budget, the show would have looked better, but they had a lower budget, so it's, they did what they could afford, essentially.
And honestly, you and I talked a lot about it while watching the show. The dinosaurs, for the most part, look really good.
Absolutely.
And that's what
they
matters.
do. The dinosaurs, you can tell they put a lot of the animation budget into making the dinosaurs look really good, and I appreciate that. Yeah. Because, if you're watching a Jurassic World TV show, you're watching it for the dinosaurs. A lot of people would be. So you want that kind of attracting force to look good, essentially.
Yes.
But yeah, agree. Jurassic World, Camp Cretaceous, two thumbs up from both of us, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely the best Jurassic thing. I mean, I like it better than all the Jurassic World movies.
I think I like it better than The Lost World and Jurassic Park 3, honestly.
I was going to say that. I think this is second to Jurassic Park, the original.
Yeah. which is like if you had told me that back when we first started watching the show, I would have fucking laughed in your face.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
So yeah,
and, you know, obviously by it being a TV show, it has more time to work with and
this
has
is true.
you know an easier time exploring content. But also, like, Jurassic World, those movies had a huge budget.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done anything, and they had 3 movies. They had 3 movies where they could have made a coherent storyline that was entertaining, and
But
they failed all 3 times.
Yeah.
Except, I mean, Fallen Kingdom was entertaining, but not for the reasons they wanted it to be.
Not in the least.
So, you know, even the TV show argument is kind of moot because it's working with a much lesser budget.
Yeah.
And the only thing that they've really got is some super talented people writing the script, some very recognizable characters, and pretty good looking dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a very limited budget. But yeah, I give it a 2 thumbs up. If you haven't checked the show out, or if you've started it and haven't finished it, please finish it. It is absolutely worth it.
Don't let,
especially for the stupid dinosaur Brad X face.
Don't let the animation or the fact that it's targeted for a much younger audience, you know, detract from your experience, because we didn't and we had a great time. So yeah, I think that's,
even if you got to get high to enjoy it,
which we
that's
did,
also a valid way to enjoy it.
Yeah. I recommend it even.
Yes.
But I think that'll be the end of our discussion on Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, because once again, we are well over 2 hours and I want to go home. So we'll quickly go over our last segment. The what new cool kaiju thing are you checking out right now? Brian, is there any new cool kaiju thing you're checking out right now?
Unfortunately, no, because I've been very busy. A couple weeks back, I watched a bunch of Gamera movies, which we were originally going to cover on this episode, but got pushed back because I broke my foot, and I also moved.
True.
But I'm going to get to the rest of those Gamera movies pretty soon.
Yeah, well, because I'm not going to say anything about what the topic will be for that, but I mean, if you go back to one of our previous episodes, you'll be able to figure it out. But thankfully, I've been checking out a bunch of stuff in the past month and a half since we last had an episode. First things first, I saw Oxygen Destroyer live in concert. I got to meet Jordan Farrow, who's like the main creative driving force.
Hell yeah.
First off, they're really, really great live. I took my friend Drew to the show. He was his first ever concert, and he was really worried he was like going to get hurt in the mosh pit or he's going to lose his hearing, whatever. And then he ended up spending most of Oxygen Destroyer's set in the mosh pit and legitimately just had the time of his life. He had a smile on his face the entire show. So I was really happy to see that. Jordan's a really cool guy. If you guys ever see Oxygen Destroyer live, definitely go say hi to him. He's a super cool dude. I mean, before he went over to the merch table to, like, you know, do his job and sell his merch, you know, I was just, you know, shooting the shit with him, talking about how cool kaiju movies are, basically. I'm not going to say it here, but he did tell me that he's currently writing the 3rd Oxygen Destroyer album, and it's got a central theme. Again, I'm not going to say because it's probably not my place to say, but next Oxygen Destroyer album is going to be good, I think, just based on what he told me. What else have I done? I rewatched Varan, and I remember I watched that for the first time with you a couple years ago, Brian, and I remember really liking it. I don't know about you.
I don't remember what I thought about it either.
Okay, so I remember really liking it, and then rewatching it like a couple weeks ago, I was like, wow, that was really mid. It really just feels like Ishiro Honda on autopilot. It was really kind of boring, honestly. Like Varan's a cool monster design, but I mean that's kind of it. Good music because it's Akira Ifukube, but I would skip it on future like Showa Toho marathon. Just skip Varan. It's kind of boring.
So what you're saying is I shouldn't go see it?
No,
or I shouldn't watch it.
I mean, you can if you want, you can watch it. It's whatever.
I mean, I have plenty of other stuff I can watch.
This is true.
I have a whole whiteboard of stuff to watch.
I finished Ultraman Leo after a fucking year. I mean, you can go back and listened to our episode where we talked with a friend of the show, Jared, that was when I started Ultraman Leo, and I only just finished it now because, Jesus Christ, I'm terrible with that. But I finished Ultraman Leo. It was really good, and I've since started The Ultraman, which is Tsuburaya Productions' first foray into anime. And honestly, it's really, really good. I'm kind of shocked by how much I've enjoyed The Ultraman so far. You watch any Showa Ultra series, aside from Ultra Q, obviously, watch any Showa Ultraman series and just take that formula and put it into an animated format, and that's the Ultraman, and it works really well. It is kind of shocking how well it translates into the field of animation. It's really, really good. I'm about halfway through the show now, and it's starting to like open up, like in terms of world building. Like I just finished watching a 3-parter of where Hikari, who's our main character, he dies, actually, spoiler alert, he dies, and the race of Ultra come down to Earth and take him back to the planet so he can like heal and be revived. And we have this, and you see like the scope of the universe. Like there's this whole intergalactic war happening between the Ultras and this race of reptilian aliens called the Badel. It's really awesome. It's really, really good. And I think my friend Corey said, at this point in the show, they have the animation team from the Mobile Suit Gundam series take over the animation duties, and you can really tell.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so definitely check out The Ultraman. It's really, really good. But I think that's all I've been checking out recently. I think that'll do it.
Nice.
I think that'll do it for this comeback episode.
Season 2.
So because it's October now, everyone, our next episode is gonna be our Halloween special. And if you remember last year for Halloween, we covered the first of the Yokai Monsters trilogy, 100 Monsters. So guess what? We talked about it last year, about doing it, but we weren't sure if we were actually going to do it. But hey, we're actually doing it. For this year's Halloween episode, we're going to be covering the second film in the Yokai Monster trilogy, which is Spook Warfare. And from what I've heard, this one is a little more comedy-based. It's a little more, kind of on the in the vein of like late 60s, 70s era Godzilla, so it's a little more kid-friendly, but that's not a bad thing. We just talked about a whole show for kids, and it was really good. So we'll be covering Spook Warfare on the next episode for Halloween. So let's get all nice and spooky. I hope you guys are doing some cool spooky things for Halloween. I know I have. I've been watching a horror movie a day since October started.
I watched both. I watched Hellraiser 1 on Sunday, and I watched Hellraiser 2
Very nice.
On Monday.
So far, I've watched The Cursed, VHS 2, Pearl, and just today I watched the original 1958 version of The Fly with Vincent Price. So far, everything's been very, very good. VHS.
I saw Child's Play 3. I saw Child's Play 3 is on that list, boy howdy, that movie is pretty mid and kind of
cool.
Eh.
Well, I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right then. All right. Well, I think that will do it for today, everyone. So thank you so much for coming back to listen. Again, apologies for the long wait. We didn't want to be gone for this long, but, things happen, and it was kind of unavoidable. So sorry for that, but we're back now. We'll be back on schedule probably until the holiday season, because we took a break last year for the holidays because, Christmas and New Year's and all that kind of stuff kind of puts, throws things out of whack in terms of scheduling issues. We'll do our best, but,
it probably won't be as long as this break.
No. Last time it was only like 2-3 weeks. But yeah,
this was much longer.
Yeah, but I guess without further ado, this has been Talking Toku. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I have the first 10 episodes of Talking Toku up on our YouTube channel. I will link that in the description of this. Feel free to go give us a subscribe and smash that like button and the subscribe. Don't forget. Turn on notifications too. Ring the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell.
I'll try to see about getting the other episodes up as soon as I can. But yeah, make sure to follow us at all those social media accounts at Talking Toku. Join, like I said earlier in the show, join the Kaiju United Discord server so you can interact with me and Brian. Mostly just me, because Brian only interacts when I ping him, and even then it's mostly just to be a grammar Nazi and say David and I or whatever you said that one time.
Yeah.
So yeah. Join us there and chat with us, and yeah, that'll be it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm David.
I'm Brian.
And we'll see you guys next time. Have a spooky October, all right?
Yeah.
See ya.
Do that.